the sons that were born in his house and circumcised them when he was 99 years old. In chapter 18, Abraham and Sarah were old. He was told again that his wife shall bear a son. In this chapter also, it was revealed that Abraham interceded for Sodom. In verse 23, Abraham asking God if God will destroy the righteous and the wicked. And God told Abraham, if he finds 50 righteous people within the city, he will spare the place for their sake. But if it be 10, the Lord said he will not also destroy it. In chapter 19, it was stated how God rescued Lot, how two angels came to Lot at the gate of Sodom, and how he offered them his house. And the men of that city came to Lot's house and told him to bring out the men. Instead, Lot told them to take his daughter, but they refused. They broke into Lot's house, and that was how they became blind. And the men said unto Lot, whatsoever he has in his city, he should bring them out, because the Lord has sent them to destroy this place. And Lot went out and spoke unto his sons-in-laws to leave this place, because the Lord is about to destroy it. And when he entered into Zoar, the Lord rained down upon Sodom and Gomorrah brimstone and fire from heaven. The Lord had earlier instructed Lot in verse 17 not to look back as he is going, but his wife looked back, and she became a pillar of salt. It was also noted in this scripture how Lot's two daughters made him drink wine, and they slept with their father. The first daughter bore him a son and called him Moab, and the younger daughter bore him a son and called him Ben-Ami. In chapter 20, Abraham repeated the same thing he did in chapter 12. When he was going to Egypt in the city of Gerar, Abraham told Abimelech, the king of Gerar, that Sarah is his sister. But God appeared unto Abimelech in a dream by the night that the woman he has taken is a man's wife, and told him to restore to the man his wife. And he did as the Lord had instructed him. And Abraham explained to the king why he had done such. The king took oxen, men servants, women servants, and gave to Abraham. And Abraham prayed unto God. He was healed, and his wife and maid servants bore him children. In chapter 21, Sarah conceived and bore Abraham a son, and he named him Isaac, and he was circumcised on the 8th day. Abraham was 100 years old when Isaac was born, and Hagar and her son, and were casted out to wander in the wilderness of Beersheba. From verse 22 down, was talking about how Abraham had a conflict with Abimelech, and the servants of Abimelech took away the well which Abraham had dug violently. In chapter 22, it was noted how God tempted Abraham to take his son to the land of Moriah to offer him as a burnt offering. He built an altar in the place where God had showed him and laid his son Isaac. When he took the knife to slay his son, the angel of the Lord appeared and called out from him from heaven not to slay his son. When he lifted up his eyes, he saw a ram. He offered it as burnt offering instead of his son. And the angel of the Lord said unto him, in blessing, I will bless thee. In multiplying, I will multiply thee. Multiply thy seed as the stars of the heaven, and as the sand which is upon the seashore. And thy seed shall possess the gate of his enemies, because thou hast obeyed my voice. In chapter 23, Sarah was already 127 years old. She died in Kirjath Arba, and Abraham came to Mount Sarah and spoke to the sons of Heth to give him a place to bury Sarah. And they told him he can choose anywhere. He also said to them to give him the cave of Machpelah and in the end of the field for any amount of money. But he denied and told him the field of the cave and the cave he has given to him to bury his dead. But the land which Abraham is asking for, it is worth 400 shekels of silver. Abraham agreed and paid, and the field and the cave that was in it was passed to Abraham as possession in the presence of the Hittites. And after this, he buried Sarah, his wife. In chapter 24, Abraham made his eldest servant to swear not to take wife from Canaan for his son. The maid replied him, what if she refuses to follow me? And Abraham told the maid, that the Lord will send an angel before him. He arose and went to Mesopotamia, unto the city of Nahor, and he prayed to God and told God to give him direction by sending a lady to give him and his camels water to drink, so he will know that this is the lady. And it came to pass immediately he said it, Rebekah the daughter of Bethuel spoke came out, and he spoke to them his reasons for coming to Mesopotamia. And Laban, Rebekah's brother, and her father Bethuel told him to take Rebekah and go. But the mother and brother insisted that she stay 10 more days. But when they called Rebekah, she agreed to go with him. So they blessed her and they took her to Isaac. In chapter 25, Abraham took a wife again, and her name was Keturah. She bore him children, Zimran and Jokshan. Zimran, Jokshan, Medan, Midian, Ishbak, and Shua. And he gave all he had to Isaac, and to the sons of the concubine he sent them gifts. He gave them gifts and sent them away from his son Isaac. Then Abraham died. He was 103 years old. He was buried in the same cave he purchased. Ishmael also gave birth to sons, and he died at age 137. Now Abraham's son Isaac was 50 years old. His wife conceived, and God told her in verse 23, two nations are in their womb, one shall be stronger than one. She delivered of twin boys. One they named Esau. He was red and hairy. The other they named Jacob. They grew up. Esau was a hunter, while Jacob was a plain man dwelling in the tents. A day came when Esau pleaded with Jacob to give him some pottage. But Jacob said to him, serve me this day thy birthright. And Esau agreed and swore unto him that he sold his birthright to Jacob. In chapter 26, because there was famine in the land, Isaac went to Abimelech, but God appeared unto him and told him not to go to Egypt, but to the land which he would show him. He blessed Isaac and performed the oath which he swore unto Abraham, and he will multiply his seed, because his father Abraham has obeyed the Lord, and he kept his commandments. And when Isaac was in Gerar, he asked if Rebekah was his wife, but he denied and said she was his sister, until the king later found out, and the king made a decree that no one should touch Isaac's wife. Isaac departed and dwelt in the valley of Gerar. There he digged wells